You try to focus, but 5 minutes in, the itch hits. Your phone is a magnet, and your attention span is 8 seconds long. Sound familiar? Stop blaming yourself. It's not your fault you're addicted to the scroll, but it is your responsibility to fix it. Here's how to radically reset your brain. Hey, listen, you've probably watched countless videos on how to stop scrolling, how to lock in, and you finally reached that point. You're ready to get your life together. Maybe you've decided this is the year you'll take your studies seriously, or finally pick up that hobby. Crocheting, coding, boxing, pickleball, calisthenics. Anything really, just to get you to stop staring at that glowing rectangle in your hand. But during those first few days, you're finding it shockingly hard. You sit down to do the work, to finally focus. But 5 minutes into it, you're already itching. That feeling. That physical urge to check your phone, open a new tab, or just scroll again is overwhelming. For some reason, you can't finish that damn painting you started. Or, even worse, you haven't even started at all. You've just been researching, watching videos about the hobby instead of actually doing it. If this sounds like you, if your motivation is high but your execution is non-existent, you might have a very, very concerningly short attention span. You might even start thinking, do I have ADHD? Unless you're actually diagnosed, let's pump the brakes on the self-diagnosis for a moment. What we're experiencing isn't a moral failing, it's a captivity. We've been taken prisoner by 8 seconds. That's right, 8 seconds. Why are we suddenly talking about attention span these days? Because the numbers are screaming at us. I found a study that showed 20 years ago, the average human attention span was about 12 seconds. Specifically, the millennials. Today, Gen Zs now clock in at a terrifying average of 8 seconds of sustained attention before they're looking for the next hit of stimulus. Think about that for a second. We've decreased our natural, sustained focus by a full third in just 2 decades. And we know the reason, right? I have 5-year-old cousins who spend 5 hours a day on YouTube Shorts. I guarantee you by the time they're 15, they're probably going to be operating on a 5-second attention span if they're lucky. It's scary. It's concerning. But that is the engine driving this whole trend of dopamine detox and focus improvement. Here's the thing, and this is crucial for the tone of this whole journey. This is not entirely your fault. We did not ask to be born in this age of instant, unlimited, endless content and information. Assuming you are a part of the younger generations, we grew up with literal content machines. Our smartphones, that are not neutrally designed. They are engineered, ruthlessly and expertly, to keep us scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Every like, every notification, every colorful icon, every perfectly edited B-roll shot is a tiny, meticulously placed digital anchor designed to keep you tethered to the screen. These platforms figured out long ago how to hack our brain chemistry, giving us intermittent, quick hits of pleasure. Dopamine. That make us crave the next hit. So, just to put it out there, stop thinking that you have some unique mental defect. Stop carrying the unnecessary guilt. Your brain is functioning exactly as it has been trained to function by the most sophisticated algorithms in history. You can stop thinking that you have ADHD, again, unless you are actually diagnosed with it. Because what most of us have is a digitally induced attention deficit caused by hyperstimulation. The downside? While it's not our fault that this environment exists, it is, whether we like it or not, our responsibility to fix this. Right now, our baseline for what constitutes entertaining or stimulating is cranked way up. It's at an all-time high. It's like we've become addicted to the sensory overload of TikTok, to the endless notifications, to having a Spotify playlist running while we're brushing our teeth, while we're showering, while we're walking from the kitchen to the living room. We're never truly alone with our thoughts or our surroundings. That constant low-level noise is our new normal. And that's why you can't focus for 5 minutes. The task in front of you, be it studying, painting, or coding, is competing with a decade's worth of training that says, a better, faster, more satisfying stimulus is only 1 click away. Your brain is essentially shouting, this is boring. Where's the fireworks show? Acknowledging this captivity is the first step toward liberation. Our goal is to pull that baseline back down to earth. We need to stop depending on constant quick hits of dopamine throughout our day so that actual meaningful, sustained work can feel rewarding again. Now that we've unmasked the scroll addiction and understood the enemy, it's time to talk about the obvious, unsexy, and deeply uncomfortable answer. Doing the complete opposite of what your brain currently craves. It's time to reset the dopamine dial. So we know the problem, the 8-second captivity. We've acknowledged that our baseline for stimulation is way up in the stratosphere, like a restless teenager who needs flashing lights and a constant party just to stay awake. And the core of the solution is painfully simple, yet incredibly difficult. We have to intentionally embrace boredom. The obvious, unsexy answer is to just do the complete opposite of what you've been doing. Instead of seeking stimulation, be bored. Just learn to welcome boredom back into your life, like a long-lost, slightly awkward friend. Let me take you back to a year ago. I literally could not stand a minute without checking my phone, or at least having it physically in my hand. Longer periods of waiting, walking, or just sitting were completely intolerable without that digital crutch. If I was in line at the coffee shop, the phone was out. If I was waiting for the elevator, the phone was out. If I was simply watching a pot of water boil, you get the picture. But now I've managed to train my attention span. I can confidently and comfortably leave my headphones at home when I go outside for a walk. I can go for a full 15-minute walk without my phone, not just tolerating the silence, but genuinely enjoying it. That transition from panic to peace is achievable, but you have to understand it's going to feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to BS you. When you start this process of destimulation, when you start trying to pull that baseline down, it's going to feel agonizing. It's going to feel terrible. You are confronting a trained chemical dependency. That itch you feel 5 minutes into your work. That's your brain throwing a tantrum because you denied it the quick hit reward it has come to expect. We've all seen the dramatic clips of dopamine detoxes where people go live in a cave for a week, but you don't need to do that. You just need 2 simple, practical strategies that work in the real world. Make your phone boring. Build boring habits. That's it. Those 2 things are the foundation. We're taking this all the way back to the basics, because the basics are what the addiction has made us forget. Let's start with the low-hanging fruit. Turn off your notifications. This isn't just an optional tip. This is a mandatory first step. Go into your settings right now. Turn off every single notification for every single app you have. You need to reclaim your phone as a tool, not a master. If you're worried you're going to miss an emergency, sure, keep notifications on for the basic message app and the phone app, the things people use to actually call you. But for everything else, email, Instagram, YouTube, news alerts, games, gone. That constant barrage of pings is the ultimate distraction engine. By eliminating it, you've instantly gained hours of time and, more importantly, countless moments of uninterrupted thought back into your day. You've just gotten rid of the main distraction. But getting rid of the alerts isn't enough. We need to tackle the way our phones look, feel, and appeal to us. The entire experience of picking up a modern smartphone is designed to be visually stimulating. We need to kill the glamour. This leads us to a tool I rarely hear people talk about, the Minimalist Launcher app. Instead of deleting your social media apps entirely, which, let's be honest, few people stick to, you can download an app that transforms the look of your phone. For Android, you can use something like the O Launcher app. For iPhone, there are apps like Minimalist Phone. What these do is hide the vibrant, colorful app icons. Your home screen becomes stark, simple, and often black and white. The apps are often just words or simple emojis. When I open my phone, that's all I see. No glowing reels, no bright colors, just a text-based list. This makes your phone less attractive, less appealing, and less likely to be picked up out of habit. You have to be intentional to open an app, not just react to a color or a catchy icon. And here's a slightly ridiculous but effective physical trick. Make your physical phone boring too. Get a boring case. Take off the dangling straps or pop sockets. All that stuff just makes your phone look more appealing, a little personal accessory you want to hold. Stop putting yourself in that trap. When your phone looks nice, you pick it up every single time just because you want to interact with it. Make it physically unattractive. These initial steps, silencing the pings and killing the glamour, are critical because they directly attack the quick-hit dopamine loops. You're teaching your brain that the device is no longer the magic portal to endless satisfaction. You are finally taking the first uncomfortable steps to lower that stimulation baseline. We've started the hard work of turning off the notifications, but the change doesn't stop there. You need a complete step-by-step roadmap to make these uncomfortable changes stick. You need a system that guides you through the whole process, from that first morning resistance to building lifelong focus. If you're ready to move past the initial agony and commit to a focused life, I've put together 30 Days to a Better You. This ebook breaks down the mindset shifts and practical routines you need, day by day, habit by habit, to permanently lower your dopamine baseline and reclaim your attention. Click the link below right now to download 30 Days to a Better You and start your focused life transformation today. We've set the stage. We understand that our modern mind craves stimulation because the content machine has trained it to. We've started the uncomfortable process of resetting the dopamine dial by killing the notifications. But the final, most satisfying step in winning the morning and reclaiming your focus is mastering the art of physical separation and digital aversion. It's time to move beyond the settings menu and implement the anti-glamour toolkit. The third, and perhaps most effective way to beat the 8-second captivity is to make your phone an obstacle. It needs to become less of an extension of your hand and more of a distant, boring tool. This is a powerful, Yet unpopular habit I started that drastically reduced my overall screen time and my tendency to pick up my phone out of habit. It's the ritual of the nightly exile. Every night, before you go to sleep, take your phone. Walk out of your room and find a room in your house that is as far away from your bedroom as possible. The kitchen, the office, the laundry room. It doesn't matter. Now hide your phone there. Just hide it anywhere. Throw it in a drawer, tuck it under a pillow on the couch, or put it on a high shelf. The critical rule is this: your phone must not be near you when you wake up. Why is this so effective? Because when you wake up, I want you to try not to check your phone for a minimum of 1 hour. If your phone is physically in your hand or next to your head, you will fail 99% of the time. You'll roll over, see the screen, and immediately start scrolling, poisoning your mental state with a cocktail of other people's problems, manufactured outrage, and endless consumption before your brain is even fully online. By exiling your phone, you automatically break that toxic cycle. You force yourself to get up, walk across the house, and be intentional about checking your device. This single habit automatically reduces your screen time because you're not starting your day with immediate scrolling. You've given yourself the gift of a focused, calm first hour. And that hour sets the tone for the entire day. We already touched on the minimalist launcher apps, but let's take the visual aversion even further. The reason every app uses bright, warm, stimulating colors, reds, yellows, oranges, is because they are visually appealing and trigger a response in your brain. To fight fire with ice, you need to turn your phone's display to grayscale or black and white mode. Find the accessibility or display settings on your device and switch on the grayscale feature. This simple toggle instantly turns the vibrant, stimulating portal into a dull, flat, monochrome tool. Suddenly, Instagram Reels aren't as captivating. TikTok dances lose their visual pop. Texting becomes a transactional action rather than a visually appealing time sink. This acts as a powerful friction point. It makes the entire act of consuming quick content less rewarding, which is exactly what we need when resetting the dopamine dial. Now that you've made your phone boring and physically distant, you have hours of time back. But what do you fill it with? You need to build a new reflex: the resistance. When you are waiting in line, commuting, or simply walking, your old habit is to instantly reach for your phone. Your hand instinctively feels for it. You need to resist this urge. This is your mental calisthenics. What do you do instead? Do nothing. Literally stare off into the distance or zone out. Resist the impulse to be constantly entertained. Instead, entertain yourself with what's already in your surroundings. Observe everything. The people having conversations without being a weirdo, of course. The architecture of the buildings passing by. The single ant marching on the pavement. The way the clouds are moving across the sky. The point is to just be present in the moment and, again, embrace the boredom. If you didn't know, you are allowed to feel bored. You are allowed to not do anything. This is especially important because often we use constant stimulation as a shield. We are trying to avoid being bored because we are trying to avoid our own thoughts. We are trying to avoid stress, unpleasant memories, or simply the reality of things we've put off. Facing your own thoughts is uncomfortable, which is precisely the type of discomfort we must get used to if we want to enhance our focus and attention. After a while of doing this, of sitting with your thoughts instead of scrolling away from them, you'll find it's really not that bad. You are effectively rewiring your brain to not have to depend on those quick hits of dopamine. You can just sit, watch people pass by, look at the sky, and think. You are trading the constant stimulation of the modern world for the quiet power of the liberated mind. We've exiled the phone, killed the notifications, and made our screens visually unappealing. You've successfully removed the main distractions, and congrats, you've instantly gained hours back into your day. Now what the heck do you actually spend it on? This is where we transition from resistance to creation. The void left by scrolling can't stay a void. It needs to be filled with intentional, focused activity. But it shouldn't just be the hard stuff right away. We need to introduce new habits that reset our internal reward system. This is the stage where boredom becomes a superpower. The first most obvious place to spend your new focus is on the studies or the hobbies you wanted to tackle in the first place. Do this first thing in the morning. Literally use this focused activity to replace the time you used to spend scrolling right when you woke up. If your priority is your studies, then that should be the first thing you put energy into. You don't wait for your motivation to kick in after lunch. You capitalize on the quiet, distraction-free morning hour you earned by hiding your phone. But beyond the obvious work, you need to build what I call boring habits. They might seem boring to you right now because of your high stimulation baseline, but trust me, they become profoundly fun and rewarding after a few weeks of consistency. They aren't quick hits. They are slow burn satisfaction. This includes things like mindful movement, any form of exercise, running, sports, calisthenics. The difference now is you're not mindlessly listening to a high-tempo playlist to distract you from the work. You're present in the movement. You're feeling the burn, focusing on your breath, and experiencing the run. Meditation. This is the ultimate confrontation with boredom. It's sitting with your thoughts, allowing them to pass without engaging. I was diligent with this for a long time, and while I'll be honest and say I don't do it as much now, the mental foundation it built was rock solid. Journaling. My personal favorite. I used to spend hours just writing and writing whatever thought came to mind. It's a pure, unedited brain dump. It forces you to slow down your thoughts and process them in a non-digital, non-reactive way. This is essential for lowering anxiety and gaining clarity. If you truly feel like you absolutely must consume content right now, and that's okay, you're human, then you need to change what you consume and how you consume it. Instead of short-form, rapid-fire content, you should be doing two things. Reading books, physical books, long-form articles, essays. These formats demand your attention and respect your focus. They don't have a comment section or a persistent notification banner. Watching long-form, almost unedited content like this. Content that is genuinely informative, educational, or deeply interesting to you. And here is the catch, the new rule for consumption. I want you to watch it from start to finish. Watch it with no other distraction. No 2x speed. No looking at the comments. No checking other tabs. Just focus on the thing you're watching. I don't care how boring or untrusting it gets, please try finish it. Why? Because this helps you stop the habit of constantly clicking away and finding the next best thing to consume. It makes you get used to being uncomfortable with lulls in stimulation, which is the complete opposite of always being entertained. And finally, the most impactful, most unpopular, and most rewarding habit of all, when you have nothing else to do, just do nothing. Literally just stare off into the distance or zone out. Think about when you're waiting in line at the grocery store, or commuting on the train, or walking to school. Your body screams, check the phone, you must resist. What you do instead is engage in true mindfulness. You entertain yourself with your surroundings. You allow your focus to drift and settle naturally. The most crucial benefit of this is that you allow your thoughts to surface. I know that most of the time you try not to be bored or try not to not do anything because you're trying to avoid your thoughts. You're avoiding stress, uncomfortable emotions, or the reality of decisions you need to make. Facing these thoughts is uncomfortable, which is exactly the habit we need to practice. After a while of just sitting with your mind, observing the world and your internal state, you'll find that it's really not that bad. This is basically rewiring your brain to not have to depend on quick hits of dopamine. You gain the ability to just sit with your thoughts, watch people pass by, look at the sky, and think. This is the way of the focused, liberated mind. You've successfully traded the anxiety of constant searching for the peace of presence. Congratulations! You've made it to the end of this journey. You've navigated the uncomfortable, the dull, and the agony of doing nothing. If you actually followed the resistance training and sat with this video, no distractions, no 2x speed, no peeking at other tabs, you've already proven you have the willpower to beat the scroll. You've gotten a genuine taste of what it feels like to be bored. I know it feels uncomfortable, agonizing, and maybe even terrible at first. That feeling is the essence of what a true dopamine detox is. You are using sheer willpower to confront a deeply ingrained, chemically driven habit. It's not fun, it's not breezy, but I guarantee you this. You will get more things done. The entire point of this mental and digital overhaul is to change your relationship with effort and reward. Once you stop depending on those fleeting, quick hits of dopamine, those instant little pings of pleasure that come from the phone, you will actually start to feel something profound, free, and liberated. Think of your attention span as a valuable currency. In the old system, the scroll addiction, you were constantly borrowing small, high-interest loans of dopamine from your phone. You felt good for 2 seconds, but the interest, the loss of time, the anxiety, the inability to focus on deep work was crippling. You were essentially a slave to your device, constantly seeking the next immediate, low-effort reward. In the new system, the liberated mind, you are investing in compound interest. When you sit down for that hour of study or that 30 minutes of journaling, it's hard. It's a high-effort input, but the reward isn't immediate. It's a deep, sustained sense of accomplishment and clarity that lasts the rest of your day. This is the difference between a high-fructose corn syrup energy spike that instantly crashes and a complex carbohydrate meal that gives you steady fuel for hours. It will be hard in the start, just like any other worthwhile habit, but it will be worth it in the end. You will be able to sit down and do the uncomfortable, tedious, high-effort work required for true success without your brain constantly throwing a tantrum. Remember that sense of panic you used to feel if you left your phone at home, or the urge to immediately check your social feeds when you woke up? That dependency, that instant need for digital validation or distraction, will start to fade. You will literally be fine without your phone for large chunks of the day, which probably sounds like a crazy thing to say right now, but trust me, it's achievable. You can stop being a slave to the device. This entire process, from silencing the alerts to embracing the boredom, is about giving your brain the resilience to handle what life actually demands: long-form thought, sustained effort, and processing difficult emotions. The brain rot caused by constant hyperstimulation is honestly concerning. I see it in my young cousins scrolling YouTube shorts and crying, throwing tantrums whenever their parents take their phone away. That level of dependency and emotional volatility tied to a device is a serious warning sign for all of us, regardless of age. By taking these steps, you are not just optimizing your productivity, you are future-proofing your mental health and reclaiming your autonomy. You are building a mental environment where boredom isn't a threat, but an opportunity for your best ideas to surface. Your focus is your most valuable asset. The scroll addiction stole it from you. By embracing boredom, establishing friction with your phone, and replacing quick hits with slow burn habits, you have earned it back. Keep going. Be consistent. You will find that the peace of a focused, liberated mind is far more satisfying than any fleeting hit of dopamine the algorithm could ever offer. Goodbye and good luck.